So now we're moving on to the workbench. This is a very specific tech tip for you today.
Is it sewer's aid?
No. Only because I had somebody come in with a broken featherweight. And then this reminded me of a time that I got a really good deal on a featherweight because it was broken.
Ah.
And I thought I would show you all how to fix this very common
sure
broken
it's on you.
problem. Because you see this a lot with a featherweight. Like I said, I picked one up at a flea market. I got it for about $100 less than what I should have paid for it because it was broken, because it felt like it was jammed up. And this is very common. If you have a featherweight, you take it apart to clean it, put it back together, you haven't used it for a while, you might forget this. And so, let me just show you. I've already taken the, I've already taken the needle plate, the screws out of the needle plate. But what happens is if you look closely on the needle plate, there is a groove right there. And what often happens when you take, you see how there, if I turn it sideways, you got that groove?
Oh, yeah.
What happens if you take this apart to clean it, which is quite, I haven't cleaned this one obviously, but that's nice and grimy looking. But whenever you take this off, what happens is that needs to line up. Can you get down inside here?
No.
You see how when this spins, as I'm going to spin the, see how the whole thing is spinning now? So what happens is when you put your, I'm going to pull this guy out because you don't want to care about, that's the bobbin case. But you see how this whole hook is spinning now? When you take your needle plate off, I'll push it, no, you're good. When you take your needle plate off, this right there, that little nub needs to be inside that raceway that's on your needle plate. That's what keeps this from spinning freely. So what'll happen is if you don't put that on right, this spins and jams up, and you can get a really good deal on these if you find them at a flea market it's jammed up, or find it at a yard sale. It doesn't work. And all it is that the needle plate just needs, you just have to make sure that that needle plate, of course I've got my needle down, when we put the needle plate on, I'm hoping you guys can all see this. You see how, see I didn't put it on right because see that little that little tab down there? That needs to be up inside of here. This is kind of weird doing this. I don't know how the weatherman does this.
I know.
But, no, that's upside down. So all I'm going to do is, let me just pop that needle plate off so you can all struggle through this with me. Anyway, you can see how that needle plate has to come up to make room for, it's hard to do with and keep it on camera. There, pull that off. We'll line that up on the top. As you, maybe it should be a hand model. So we're gonna try and line that up right there on the top. This is much easier to do without trying to do it on camera. And that drops on there. And of course, it's not sitting in there quite right. And then you see how that's now caught in there? So what happens when I turn the hand wheel, you see how the hook on the outside moves, but not the inside. So what often happens when you pull that plate off, what often happens when you pull the needle plate off to clean it, and you don't line that back up, then the machine's gonna jam up. And what you'll see a lot of times, like I said, you'll see these for sale, and it'll be a nice featherweight, and then you go to try it, and it jams up, and you're like, oh, it's broken. It's probably not. Somebody probably got it from their grandmother, took it apart to clean it, put it back together wrong, and now it's jammed, sitting on a shelf somewhere. Like I said, I picked one at a flea market for, I think I got it for like $150 because it was broken. And knowing what I do, I took a quick look at it. I didn't take it apart there at the store, and picked it up. That very common on featherweights. Like I said, if you have a featherweight and you don't use it very often, you may forget that when you go to clean it. And then, like I said, I had one come in yesterday. She loves her featherweight. She had pulled it out for something else, and she was all concerned that she had broken it. And we had it fixed in about 2 minutes. I mean, you can see how quick it goes. But that's just a quick tip for the day. So it's very common, like I said, kind of specific to featherweights, but you know. It's a good one, and like I said, if you find them at flea markets or yard sale, jammed up 9 times out of 10, that's all that's wrong with it.
Cool beans.